Okay, butterflies. So we are here back again with another amazing guest. I need you to be prepared to be inspired by a force of nature, a modern day oracle of resilience and empowerment. Today we welcome Minnie is a proud Black disabled femme entrepreneur for over 22 dynamic years. Her professional webcam modeling has been her golden fleece, her source of fortune, freedom, and fierce resistance in this digital realm. Living with bipolar disorder and multiple sclerosis, she continues to challenge systems that were never built with her in mind, including the Ontario Disability Support Program. Navigating these systems is nothing short of a mythological journey, and yet Minnie continues to advocate and educate and empower. So, Minnie, I would like for you to take that away and let the people know who you are.
And they'll hear the other parts when we're talking. I
Oh,
just
absolutely.
hearing it from a third person is a whole experience. And thank you so much for the intro.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
So tell us like how you even were introduced to this world and like what caused you to go on this path.
Which one?
Well, let's start with the disability path.
So disability came out of working in adult entertainment, and I left home at 18. So that was pretty traumatic and like just horrible. Even though now I'm 40 and my parents don't remember it's horrible. I go, no, I still don't live at home. And I never went back. So like,
Right.
some kids, they leave home and they go back. I didn't go back. So I'm one of those people that I made it work no matter what. Where leaving home at 18 was an ad in the paper to be a webcam model, live in a house. So it was positioned as a room for rent, but the person who was renting out his home also helped people with tech support, and he had female friends that were webcam models or phone sex operators. So I would hear him talk about it all the time. And then he was like, let me set the living room so you can work. I'm like, okay, fine. Because I don't have no job. I'm 18 and I can't go back home to my parents. So, like, that was the best option at that time. And then disability showed up after it. So, like, I'm living with him for a year and a half. He ends up being a horrible person. Then I need to move. I get my apartment on my own because that webcamming was enough income to prove I had income to get an apartment. But I'm still not talking to my parents. So like 18 to about 22, because I moved out 2004, August. And then around like halfway of 2005 or so to 2006, I'm realizing I'm not sleeping. I have fluctuations in mood. I'm bitter all the time. I'm angry all the time. And yes, also I'm working full time from home at the same time. So it wasn't normal yet. It was still, you were weird for working from home. And then I went into my doctor and I said, I think I have PTSD. And she pulled out a little questionnaire paper and she said, yes, you do. I cried. She gave me a hug. And then I went through mental health supports and different therapists. And then my dad still had me on his insurance. So I called him and be like, hey, I need to speak to a counselor. Does your insurance cover it? Because I'm still on your insurance. I'm 26. He gave me a number. I called people. So from 2005 until now, I've always been in and out of therapy. And then August 2013, I get diagnosed with multiple sclerosis because I couldn't move my left arm.
Wow.
And then my doctor is like, oh, left arm, we should be worried. Let's do all the tests.
Mm-hmm.
They did. I'm thinking it's a pinched nerve. They're like, no, demyelination of the nervous system, brain, and spine. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And multiple sclerosis for me, I only remember multiple sclerosis from Montel Williams. So,
Right, right.
and he's always made it seem like very expensive. I'm doing all this crazy testing and this testing. He's only like, luckily, he's the only Black male person I know with multiple sclerosis that lives well with it compared to Selma Blair or Christina Applegate. And of course, multiple sclerosis typically is shown as a white disease. So
Mm.
Black people with MS, I have to find you, and you're all in America. So it's, and being in Canada, trying to get supports from Multiple Sclerosis Society in Canada is very difficult because they don't acknowledge the Black intersectionality unless I go to Black disability organizations. So yeah, that's how that started.
And I definitely have questions about, well, what I originally assumed would be a difference in the Canadian disability system compared to the US, but as in, reading your bio and like hearing you and like kind of researching some things before our interview, I'm like, it doesn't seem that different. As in, it's like not, it's framed as support, but yet I don't think support's in the room with us. Like, so okay, so because you are like, I have to admit, I am thoroughly impressed with your bio and just like the way you are still like kicking life in the face, you
Yeah,
know?
like a
And I'm
cockroach.
like,
Yes.
and you are someone that like I I so I feel like I'm that person, but I know there are other people out there that are just taking all of this horrible stuff and just chewing it up and spitting it back out. And that's you. I mean, let's just not glaze over like, the sex work thing and then the webcam thing. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I am intrigued. So like, what what did it take? Like, whether it be physically or mentally or emotionally, for you to endure all the things you did and even currently are doing, and yet you show up looking flawless. Like,
Eh,
I mean, who are you? Are you real? Like,
I mean, yeah,
it's like, huh?
I had to tap the microphone. Yeah, I'm really here. But I'm built stubborn,
Mm,
as my parents remind me all the time. And also, so like my history of being on the internet, this is dial-up internet with AOL. So and then classes I took in high school was always about building web pages or English media or art classes. They were always technology based or art based. And then high school, I was very promiscuous.
mhm.
It just what it was because
High school,
dealing
like
with
like
trauma.
pre-college.
Well, yeah, yeah, enough where because in my 20s I get diagnosed with MS. So
Wow.
my lifestyle choices had to change
Mhm,
based on my MS. And then with webcamming, so webcamming was on the road of being an adult film star.
mhm,
And then it turned out webcamming is the number one thing in the industry for everybody
mhm,
from adult film stars. And then they want to connect to their fans directly because the model to fan ratio, the consumer to consumer ratio, is higher. Because when you work with like a production company or a studio, they're taking a percentage, or an agency, they take a percentage. And then the adult industry, they're super racist. I'm gonna say it. Yeah, you're super racist. Where I'm literally told if I go into an agency, oh, we already have a black girl, you could work our opposite shift. And then clubs, oh, we have too many black girls, we don't want to be a black club. But my fans directly spend money on me. This is why I webcam for so long and I sell courses and people buy me a coffee and I still show up on webcam and I'm looking at getting cosmetic surgery and things like that because it's for the fans. Like I have fans now since 2003 till now who will spend 15 minutes, $10 a minute with me without batting an eye.
mhm,
And it's not the company that hired me. It's not, oh, one company said, we only hired you because we need a black girl on our website.
hmm,
They said it. It's published online somewhere that they said that. And then, yeah, so me pushing forward, what else am I going to do?
mhm,
I'm not going to, I mean, I've cried in the corner under the blankets. I've done it. It doesn't really work anywhere. Plus, coming from a Caribbean, very strong family, they don't let me be lazy.
mhm, mhm.
And if you ever grew up in a family, you're like, oh, my tummy hurts. They don't let you stay home. You go to school. When you're passed out at school, they come pick you up. That is
Right.
how that works.
Right.
So I had like pushing through pain no matter what. Yes, it's ableism, it's all these words we're going to use it for and all those things, but it doesn't actually go away.
No. Still got
We
you
just
still have to manage it somehow.
You do. You manage it. And I imagine it with going to therapy. And people are like, oh, you should just go to church. No, I needed therapy, not church. Like all of these things that Black disabled people deal with, we deal with all this extra expectation and shame that's not ours. So
Mm,
I had to lean into the therapy system, lean into personal development, lean into my skill set, lean into I can read. Let me read the government policy of disability benefits and make a plan. I
mhm,
wasn't going to let a caseworker in the office look me up and say, oh, people on disability are not really self-employed. We don't really support it. But your website fully says self-employment supports. And then it fully says we allow small business owners to earn income while receiving disability benefits. So if my caseworker doesn't know what that is, they have to point me in the direction of people that do.
mhm,
Because they've already said I'm disabled. My doctor already filled out the form. We already went through court to prove I'm disabled. So if you have these programs that are on your website, you need to tell me why they're gone or who do I talk to get access to it.
mhm.
And yeah, maybe it's because of my, stubbornness and my Black Caribbean Jamaican household. We don't take no for an answer
Mhm.
when we want something. I know that. That's just how my grandma is built and my mom is built and my sister. Like the level of people around me who are like, no, you know what? I'm going to find another solution. And we go find the solution. And we spend 40, 60, 90 hours out of our time in the work week finding a solution because we have to put food on the table and we have people to take care of. And then, oh yeah, I'm gonna get sick and die one day. It's gonna cost money. Like we just had my family member pass away. They flew his body to Jamaica to bury him. That's not cheap.
No, it is not.
So don't tell me, oh, you're disabled and we really don't support that. No, you do. We need to find it so I can go back to not being disabled, at least enough to not function. Like the disability is never going to go away, but it has to be managed in a way that I don't feel like I have to beg on the street for money.
That part. So first off, I definitely am sorry for your loss. But in addition to that, this like guys, when you guys who are watching, this is advocacy. This is self-advocacy. Because a lot of times when we're dealing with the programs that as they are, they kind of want you to give up. They want you to take the little blanket answer because they don't want to spend the money. But that's not our problem. The rules are there for a reason. And I'm pretty sure, like I know, because for me, like I've been fighting for 10 years here in America trying to get disability, and they always come back to, well, you're too young. Exactly.
No shit.
Exactly. I'm like, I shouldn't have the medical makeup of an 85-year-old
I
when
didn't
I'm
want to do an
40.
MRI for an hour every year for the rest of my life to lie in there and say, oh, there's lesions in your brain, there's lesions in your spine. I can't move my right leg. I can't move my left arm. Yeah, I'm 40 years old. No shit, I'm too young. No shit.
And it's like, and if I'm going to lie about something, do you think it would be this?
That I can't move my fucking left arm. And then my doctor had me I was screaming in pain. Then she said, you know how they say squeeze their
Mhm.
hands to see whatever? I squeezed my doctor's hand and I screamed bloody murder in the office.
Wow.
That is how we knew something was wrong with squeezing, basic
Yeah,
squeeze. Like we see it all the time on TV where you say squeeze my hands, like, oh,
yeah.
good.
It's
And then,
not supposed to be painful.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
chiropractor has this thing where she flicks my finger
Yeah.
and it twitches involuntary. She's like, yeah, you have a neurological disorder. I was like, what? And it's an intern chiropractor in a student clinic doing her hours so she can graduate. So when she flicked my finger and it twitched, she's like, hmm. And then she went and got the senior doctor and she did it again. They did it 4 times.
Like, is it
I
real?
mean,
Like, what?
I already knew I had multiple sclerosis going into the student chiropractor doctor as part of my way of managing my pain. But the fact that I went to a student clinic because it was cheaper and affordable, then I already know my diagnosis is already there. Then
Mhm.
she did the neurological test she's trained to do, and I passed that test as diagnosis with a neurological disorder. It freaked me out because this little girl didn't know who I was.
Right.
And then she goes, let me go speak to my superior. And then they came in and she did it and she's like, oh, take a note of it. Like they treated me like they were diagnosing me again. You know how the room gets very quiet and everyone was like concerned, but they don't want to show on their face and all those
Mm-hmm.
things.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how it happened again.
That's
That, and then it's not like it's last year. I was diagnosed already with multiple sclerosis in 2013 by a proper neurologist who did all the MRIs and that stupid pin prick test with the pizza wheeler.
yes. Hate
Yeah,
that. I hate it.
exactly. Like,
I hate it. Oh yeah. I mean, and it does always kind of baffles me how I mean, we understand okay with the student, like she is literally learning. Like that's what she's there for.
and she's learning on someone with an already proven disability to
Exactly.
get her hours in to graduate.
But it's like,
And
like
and the main reason why I stopped seeing her, my feet were swelling really bad, and we didn't know why. So
mhm,
again, she gets a senior doctor. They pushed her finger on my leg, and it has this certain level of bouncing back, and they called it stage 3 or stage 4, something lymphedema. I was like, okay, well, this sucks. And they're not trained in that. There's other physiotherapists, chiropractors that deal with people that have lymphedema, which
mhm,
means I have to go find another clinic who's not really affordable to start all over again. And they're probably gonna do the finger flick test to see if you have a neurological disorder.
right.
And it's gonna cost me more money that's not actually inside of the budget I get from disability, or because I don't have private health insurance that would cover paramedical services, I have to pay out of pocket. And to pay out of pocket means I have to webcam and make my money so I can pay for it.
Mm,
Because it's not going to come out of 1,600 a month that I get from disability, and that's the maximum I can get because I know to fill out the form for special diet and medical needs necessities forms. I maxed out everything I can get.
mm,
So, and then what used to be covered, because there's government funded physiotherapy, but I like it's a sweatshop. It really is. You go into a clinic, there's little partition curtains. Everyone is hooked up to a TENS machine for 15 minutes. Then a lady runs around and gives everyone the ultrasound machine with the gel, and then you go home.
mm,
And then because it's like a certain specific criteria, it's typically for elderly people in that clinic. So if I'm
mhm.
in there and elderly people are before me or they're adult children in there checking in with them, if they see me, they wonder why I'm there
Because you're
because I look too young.
right.
When no, I'm just as messed up as your mom is, who broke her hip last week. Like, it's just,
I mean, I get that so much because like I use a walker when I'm out and about. Because it gets to a point to where you passing out in front of random strangers, it gets old. So like, let me just go ahead and use the mobility device and be done with it. And people are like looking at me and like they have, I call it the audacity. Well, what's wrong with you? I'm like, hello, stranger.
you should ask them back the same question,
Right.
honestly.
It's like I'm like, do I
Because we
know
know
you?
what's wrong with us. A doctor told us.
Exactly. And it's really like
And they did
no good
follow up to make sure it's still there, what they thought it was to begin with. The amount of follow up we do of a doctor that diagnosed you with something that's
to get the same
permanent,
diagnosis.
chronic, medications, treatments, possible side effects. While regular people are like, oh, what's wrong with you? I go, really? When is the last time you had your physical? When did you go do your blood work? When do you do your x-rays to check everything is where it's supposed to be? Like if I didn't do an ultrasound, I wouldn't know I had a fibroid. But because we routinely check all my body parts, with fibroids. Now I have to go back to my doctor. I'm like, hey, remember when we checked the fibroids? So we can go back and check if they're still there. No, I hate going into the ultrasound with a full bladder, but I at least know we're monitoring the fibroids that we found because
Mm-hmm.
I was having bladder problems from the multiple sclerosis. That was the whole purpose of checking my bladder to begin with. But for regular people that think they're fine, they don't usually know they're not fine until they're the final stages of whatever their
Something going
condition they're
on.
being diagnosed is.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole, yeah, man, I'm gonna ask back that same question that people tell me, well, what's wrong with you? You don't look disabled. No, you don't look disabled either, but I'm pretty sure something wrong with you.
Like you don't look mentally challenged, but clearly you are. So, I mean, it is very, very much so full of audacity, but I mean, for me, that's just the life I'm used to it at this point. That's the life we live, but it is very much messed up. And having to redo the same exam and answer the same questions because they don't escalate the like, okay, she's already done this. So let's move on to the next thing. And it is very expensive and frustrating because you never really get any answers. How long did it take? Well, you see, you got first diagnosed in your 20s.
Yeah.
So were there signs beforehand, or was it something that you were completely blindsided by?
Oh, there were signs. Everything had signs. Everything had, so me, bipolar, PTSD, depression, I had signs of that when I was 12.
Mm,
So it's not like we didn't know about it because I saw a child psychologist when I was younger because my parents said, okay, the doctor said go see a child psychologist. So we did, but they didn't continue the treatment.
okay.
So, and it like, and then the second social worker, child psychologist, I aged out of the program. So the minute I turned 18, I couldn't see those people anymore. And
Right.
we just got to the cause of depression and helplessness and suicide stuff. Like, so from 12, if you read my journals, I have some of them still. They're pretty dark. They're pretty awful. Like, and my parents who worked all the time, mom's a nurse, dad drives the bus, like they both work 24-hour shifts. They're booked long shifts with a 4-hour break for 6 to 8 weeks at a time, even now. Like, and they're in their 60s now. So when I have something going on, like the winter, we had a really bad winter and the city didn't plow the sidewalks right away. And I have balance issues. Me walking in a pile of snow with balance issues? Are you freaking kidding me? I want to say a lot of swear words for describing walking in snow with balance issues. And then the other thing, if they do plow the sidewalk and I'm walking towards someone with a wheelchair or a power scooter, it takes up the whole sidewalk. That's one. Then if I don't move completely out of the sidewalk, they run over my foot. And then they act like they own the sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
not, oh, we should share space of the sidewalk like people on the road.
Right, right, right. You can't just be running into people on the street.
And then they run over my foot. How am I supposed to get do I take a picture of their scooter? Do I take a picture of them and then get their phone number to complain so I can send them to court for damaging my foot? There's no process of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and because the city didn't build sidewalks big
Big
enough
enough.
for a big scooter, because they like to get the big one. I get it. You want to be comfortable in your scooter and it becomes your whole legs
Mm-hmm.
and appendage. Like, but me walking and we're sharing the sidewalk, yeah, I literally have to choose. Do I jump in the road or jump on this hill of grass that may not be completely clean green grass or risk my foot being run over? And yeah, there's time my foot is run over. And then I like, and then for me to go tell my mom or whoever, oh, this happened to me today, they're going to act like I did something wrong.
Right, right. Not understanding that that's a traumatic event for you. Like it, because your
And
body
then
is already.
too, so my trauma response sometimes I laugh, but I also have medications for the bipolar disorder that causes involuntary muscle movements.
Mm,
So my smiling, my giggling, and whatever. No, if my brain is processing something horrible, the default coping mechanism I have is to laugh at it
mm,
because it's too messed up to actually process the reality of it.
mm.
Because if I don't find a different way of triggering my emotions to be a more positive one, I burst out crying. Then what are you going to do about it? You're going to tell me, oh, sorry to hear about that?
Right, and or in my case, it'd be like, oh, now you're being dramatic. I'm like, well,
Yes,
no,
yes,
not.
yes. Or you're too aggressive or too whatever. Yeah.
Uh, that ooh, yes, because that happened to me a couple weeks ago, and I'm just like, you haven't seen aggressive. I'm like, this is just me processing.
I know. I hit a man with
Wait,
a head in a frying pan. I know how to be aggressive.
so and people don't understand. I like to say people don't understand. Somehow I think they do. I really think they understand that what they're saying and doing is out of pocket, but they just don't care. And that's
Well, I mean, so like my sister, she runs marathons by choice.
my choice. I'm like, okay.
Because she does. She's healthy. She's a chiropractor. She's run track and field her whole life. She does bodybuilding competitions her whole life. And then I reached out because she did a marathon and her goal was 2 hours and she did 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now in my head, I'm thinking, well, she'll just go back and do it again because that's what she does. That's her natural rhythm of life. But for me, I could barely walk outside for 40 minutes without coming over. I can't move my leg. Like eventually when I'm walking, my right leg drags behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my doctor it's like I'm a peg leg pirate that cannot walk straight.
Mm-hmm.
That is how I describe my ability of walking. Not thinking, let me go train my body to exhaustion to go run a marathon willingly for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I could barely go out there for 30 minutes on two podcast episodes of walking there and walking back.
Right. And
So
yeah.
the words people describe to, they really go into something that physically exhausting their body. Yes, in that moment, you're going to stress your body out to its maximum limit and then you recover, but your recovery time is faster. Recovery time for chronic illness, chronic pain, autoimmune disease that affect your whole nervous system and your body movements, we don't get the same natural recovery time
You know.
at all. We don't. Like my body shuts down when I sleep all day, or like it's stiff and I can't move my hand, I can't move my leg, I can't move my toes. Like when I cannot move my toes, there's nothing I can do about it but watch my toes curl up and just stay there stiff.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't move, I can't wiggle, I can't stand, I can't. I have to just wait for 2 minutes until it's over. And
Wow.
then not because I live in an apartment, I can't scream as loud as I want to based on the pain level. I have to literally change the level of expressing frustration and pain into a pillow.
Which is and that I think that example right there completely embodies what it's like to have a chronic illness. Because even though you are experiencing excruciating pain, some debilitating symptom, you still find it in you to be considerate of your neighbors.
Yeah,
Like you're technically in your own home.
I know.
So
I
if
should
you want
scream
to
as loud as I
scream
want
bloody
to. I
murder,
know.
murder, bully, scream. But and that's a daily life. Like we're always putting things in a pocket, in a pocket, and life is hard enough as it is.
Yeah, like it happened. So I went for brunch. I got the eggs Benedict. They gave me the knife and fork. I couldn't cut my own food. I did, but using knife and fork in the way that,
You're supposed to.
we learned eventually our whole lives when we get to use our knife and fork, my left hand hurts like hell.
And
So if
people
I
don't get
make a
that.
face I'm in pain in a restaurant, they think there's something wrong with the food. I've had it. They give me free food because they think there's something wrong with the food. And then now I sometimes cannot swallow. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it was weird. I made food. I had the fish. I took a bite. The food's fine. Yes, it was over salty, but that was my problem. I had to spit it back out. And then in the moment of me spitting out the food in my home, I'm like, what if I'm in a restaurant? What would they
Right.
think? I literally spit. And then because it's my own plate, I ate the plate. I continued finishing the plate, but I literally spit food back into my own plate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that in a restaurant.
Right.
They'll literally think there's something medically wrong with me or like psychotically wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh, I have a health condition and like let's go to a restaurant and try to have a good time. And you don't know you cannot swallow food
Until you
because
get.
it's episodic. It's
Mhm.
fully episodic. So like last week I could eat the steak with the black pepper sauce and all that stuff. But the next week my body don't like the black pepper sauce no more. It spits it out. And depending on who I'm with and where I'm with, like I remember chewing the steak. My mom thought I need the Heimlich remover. I'm like, no, just give me a minute. I can chew. I just remember I can chew. And then I have TMJ, so my jaw doesn't move
Mm-hmm.
normally. It clicks and is stiff. And like I literally have to do my vowels, say my vowels as big as possible and massage my jaw. A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y. And make my mouth as big as wide as possible in the mirror and massage it with eucalyptus.
That's crazy. But that
No, like I'm too young for this, remember? Like this is
100%.
people like it's not like I'm gonna record every moment of my life of going through my symptoms because that's stupid. Like I literally have to record my symptom, then show you my symptom. I can't do
Mhm.
both. Have the symptom and then record it.
Exactly. I mean, I know like last week I was breaking out so like, for my next coming visit, and I'm sitting there like recording my rashes so I'm pretty sure when the visit comes up they're gonna be gone. You know, I'm gonna have the clearest skin in the world. So I'm like, I'm telling you, they're here. I have
Yeah, I get it too.
evidence.
Right here just turns red for no reason.
Exactly. And
And
it
then I'm doing this all day long, rubbing my, because it itches, but I don't want to dig my nails into it.
mm-hmm.
And then the cream they gave me, they refilled so many prescriptions of it. I have like 10 of them or 12 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, they're expired, but they've never been opened. So I'm like, can I still keep them? Like, do I need to go to my doctor and get a new prescription to be like, hey, remember the cream you gave me? I need more of it. Because now that is an ongoing thing of this rash that pops up. And now I can't, like, yes, like autoimmune diseases, it does weird stuff where no, like 1 minute I'm fine. And then even like going outside, how now it's spring and we
Mm-hmm.
have pollen and stuff. Like one time I'm outside and I walked somewhere and I was itchy all over. I had asthma attack.
Wow.
I'm not an asthma person. And then going home, hoping I had Benadryl or some other antihistamine because I didn't have the money for it. Like the level of things we do to make sure we're able to function at a baseline and then record when we're not our baseline. So the doctors have ongoing records because when the disability office asks for a medical review, things to make sure they document ongoing, my patient is disabled in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a doctor that gives you routine to do follow-ups and check-ins of your overall history of all your symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
when you do file your disability forms, they get rejected because they don't have all the details.
Right.
So now I'm literally forced to journal in little books and little notebooks, and I bring it to my doctor. We do a checklist of all the things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on her file. So when here's time to fill out disability medical review form again, she's ready. She's not, oh, I haven't seen you that much. I don't really know what's going on with you, so I can't really write that on the form. That's what a lot of doctors will say.
Oh
They'll
yeah.
say that you're their patient. They don't really know you, even though you're legally their patient, but they can't fill out the form because they're not an expert in your condition. But if they
Yeah.
actually set up regular reviews every 3, 6 months, a year, and then have a flexibility that if you call for an appointment, you can get in, then when we fill out the disability forms, we're prepared to get our disability and access and the programs that we need.
Yeah. And so
This
and like
this is
here
becoming the most educational ranting process of all time.
no, it's not but I'm thinking like people who are watching this, like this is our life. Like, I've had someone idiotically say, well, I wish I could just stay home all day and watch TV.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about the dishes in the sink. Laundry's my laundry that's in my bedroom that needs to be done. Would you like to do it?
Exactly.
Because
And this is not a choice. Like this is, I mean, and like what you just described, we are constantly doing something, whether it's making an appointment, looking for a new doctor, researching a new symptom that just popped up out of nowhere, recording physical, actual symptoms. Heck, just trying to live, just trying to get through
I
the
know I
day.
said I went to brunch and I go to dinner, but I know going to brunch and dinner, there's a risk factor of stomach issues,
Yep.
digestive issues, and do I get alcohol or not? Like,
Because I mean, before my chronic illness, I was very, very much so social. Take me out anywhere. Now I dread the going out because it's like if I go out to just be sociable and don't eat, then they're gonna be like, well, why aren't you eating? Well, because I'm scared to eat because I don't know what's going to happen. I might have to go to the bathroom. I might get sick, and I don't want that happening here. So it's like either don't eat and look weird or eat and embarrass yourself and the people you're with, and it's too much. It's too much.
yeah, it is. For me, I've my body is now giving me a routine. I can time it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it wasn't giving me a routine that I could time it, yeah, I didn't go anywhere.
Mm-mm.
Like, and because I work from home and I can deliver groceries, and most of my friends, we talk on virtual, whatever, and we're good. I didn't go anywhere for like a decade. I didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the lifestyle career choices I have that are all digital and on the internet for 22 years of my life. Yeah, I was able to customize everything I needed for my disability based on what symptoms or flare ups or am I agoraphobic in that moment? Like, because the things they diagnosed me, even though some of them symptoms, they feel like they're gone, but they're really not.
No.
Something has to trigger it to activate it again. And then customizing, oh, if I'm working today for 4 to 6 hours and I make my money, it's because I built structures and systems in place to be able to adapt to, oh, let's go to this networking event. It's 2 hours. It's in this neighborhood. I know this bathroom is good. This bathroom. I literally look which neighborhood has a good bathroom, like the episode of Seinfeld with George.
And that this is gonna be a great segue. So when we come back, we're going to talk about how do you um how do you set up your schedule? Um how you actually manage. Like what we were talking about previously is just all the things that are involved in our daily living. But how do you manage your business, your energy? What systems have you developed or found that are helpful to help you maintain your routines and your boundaries?
Um, so like I said, me working from home for 22 years, I'm have this open flexibility of doing whatever I want, how I need to, because the companies I work for, they're now like 30 years old. So like the industry for webcamming and being a webcam model for so long with a pretty loyal fan base from customers and also some other cam models, like some of them will pay for coaching and things like that. Everything goes into the calendar. So, and then reminders on my phone. And then, yes, have food. I try to eat on a schedule. And then I try to cook meals that don't take a lot of
Mm,
effort all the time. So it's one pot meals, it's slow cooking, like, and maybe I'll get appliances, but then you have to clean the appliances. So, like, if you get an Instapot, who's cleaning the Instapot?
right.
So, and then my oven, ideally, I should be cleaning my oven right now, the amount of grease that's in there for making whole chickens, but I don't really want to. But I need a,
Right.
so then the cleaning TikToks where they use the power steamer,
Mhm,
I'm gonna have to
yeah.
invest in one of those, or the robot vacuum. I'm gonna have to get one of those because
Mhm,
my building is near a busy road and a lot of dust comes through
mhm.
where it's grainy on my feet and I walk barefoot, so I feel the pressure on my floor all the time.
Right.
Where I'm like, I just sweeped yesterday. Like, why? Like, I have to, and then the dollar store is really great at having a good selection of cleaning products that actually clean. So I literally have to put in my budget $50 to $100 of this cleaning products that and follow the instructions on the cleaning products. I learned that too. And then there's the Fly Lady system where she makes each of your home into zones of cleaning, and then you do a 10-minute timer or a 2-minute timer just to clean. Like my recycling stuff, I have to go downstairs in my building in the basement for the recycling chute.
Mhm.
And if it's full and doesn't, because it gets full, it's really weird when it gets full because it's actually a like a chute, and then the other side is the basement where real people are there. So the
Two people.
when you actually just understand the chutes in your building for garbage where they go, it's just a giant bin at the bottom. So
Look
when
out
those are,
below.
yeah, pretty much when those are full, I have to go outside. I have to my granny shopping cart, my trolley cart, put all my recycling in there and then throw them out over there. Like I have to plan everything. Like me going for a walk, it was like an hour or so before sunset where I walked out for 30 minutes, 15 minutes on a podcast and come back.
Mhm.
Now that's in my routine where I'm like, I never been in that neighborhood before. I'm like, I should. And then how near my house is a cemetery where the path and the cemetery are two giant circles. And typically people walking their dogs are in there. But the dogs don't recognize me, so they get upset when I'm walking.
Wow.
So I'm learning, just go outside, go for a walk. Maybe I have enough money to go out there, get a sandwich, and come back. Because depending on where I walk, I either walk past food or I walk past a grocery store or something and then come back. So like I'm trying to build my schedule in a way where webcamming is like the longest. Like some people who do webcamming and live streaming, we can live stream almost 20 hours
Hmm.
with very little breaks in between, which is not good for your bladder, not good for your stomach, not good for your posture, not good for your eyes. Like blue light blockers and eye strain, that is a real thing where, and it, my eye strain is not on every computer I'm on. Like it's different on my laptop than my computer in my room where that's typically where I do my webcam, adult webcam streaming, where sometimes I'm wearing glasses, sometimes I'm not. Then I have to make sure everything is either theme and dark or bigger font and or I move everything to a giant TV connected to the computer. Like I'm always trying to find ways of maintaining the demands of my job of being an entertainer
Mhm.
and balancing my disability at the same time. And then because of the way it's accessible to make money on the internet, there's times I don't have to do a whole lot, but I've made $100 where I'm good for a couple of days because disability free still is able to pay my rent in full.
Mhm.
And I now squeezed it where $300 out of that is groceries. And then the budget I'm talking about is on my YouTube channel where I break down my disability budget, exactly what I get from the government. And I maximize the rules of if I make $100 net profit in my business minimum,
Mhm.
they'll add on $100 called a work-related benefit on my next payment for my disability check. So, and then there's sometimes I'll do like academic research interviews where they pay an honorarium. They're taxing. They need to pay us more for the honorarium. But last year, I made like $2,000 for the whole year of just doing research academic papers and honorariums for people that needed enough real life experience so they can use that information to get grant funding. And every time I complain, don't give me a gift card that makes the corporation rich. Two, the fee you're giving me is not worth the amount of information I could build on my own in my YouTube channel, my business.
Mhm.
Like if somebody watches almost all of my YouTube videos, it's 2,000 hours of content right now on my channel. I would get paid more than somebody paying me from an honorarium academic research
Mhm.
paper. And then, oh yeah, I'm really good at sending invoices to people who want to know my information. Yeah, no problem. Give me your best email and I'll send you my invoice. And once you pay my invoice, we can start the service or the consultation or the disability justice advocacy. I don't just freely give away my disability information unless I know the purpose of it. Like this is because Allison from Thriving While Disabled has a book and I've been following her. Then I saw you and then you have a podcast and I know this boosts up Minnie St. Clair, how you
Mhm.
Google me and there's more shit out there than ever before.
Right. And Allison, I love Allison. She's amazing. I love her.
So yeah, I like being technology savvy or willing to learn technology and using it in a way to build a business around my disability is primary why, yeah, I look fabulous and I'm a badass bitch. Yes, that's exactly
And
why.
it is true. It is absolutely true. I'm like, so would all of that you just described, does that feed into your living free? Like that, where like where did that come from? Aside from like I guess necessity, but what does that really mean to you?
Well, I mean, it fully rejects hustle culture. I don't have to go out like 2003, 4, when I moved out on my own. I started webcamming first. Then I got a job outside the house, like where I went to an interview and they hired me and they paid me every 2 weeks. I went through orientation, I had to fill out my normal tax paperwork from being an employee. I would only last in those jobs 2 months if you were lucky. Sometimes I quit the first day after you hired me.
Right.
Like I thought I could work the elections because here it's seasonal. They they hire in batches. It's typically elderly people or people on disability that work at the election offices of
Mhm.
managing the votes and things like that. But my feet were swollen so bad in the 5 hours of training. So legally in Ontario, Canada, you get a break after 5 hours. When I'm home, I get a break any freaking time my bladder says go to the bathroom.
Right. Exactly.
It may be 2 hours from now, it may be 15 minutes from now. I don't know. But I know if I have to go, I'm going. And I'm not like, oh, I should ask the supervisor. Oh, I need to finish this call with the customer or customer service. Like, I literally just go, do what I have to do, make a sandwich, wash some dishes, go back to work, make my money, and then log on. But I thought I could work the elections as a nice seasonal regular paycheck that would help me get consistently the work-related benefit in Ontario Disability Support Program. not realizing, no, it's a different environment. My body is not going to like it, and just stay home and enjoy. Like, I get reminded all the time, I'm better to stay home and make my money anytime I decide, oh, let's apply for this job or apply for this. Like I did, I applied for a job that said they wanted disability helpers, but it's remote
Okay.
and then you control your hours. I don't know. I barely had a resume. I put in everything I do on social media for my own self advocacy as part of my application.
Hmm.
I'm hoping they'll see, if they Google me, they'll see how much I do,
Hmm.
that they won't care. They don't have a formal traditional resume
Right.
because the nonprofit organizations, they don't do what I do. They don't teach what I teach. They don't teach you the policy says they will allow people to be self-employed and make your money and teach people how to run a business properly, how to do the bookkeeping, business operations. I'm learning out of the book Donald Miller, um, How to Grow Your Small Business and Take Off Like an Airplane. I butchered the title, but it's fine. We'll put it in chat and
Hmm.
descriptions after later. I read books from Tony Robbins. Like Tony Robbins, 2024 January, he had me out on stage in VIP talking to everybody of how I want to build my business and coaching business to help people with disabilities who are entrepreneurs live free because we can if we're
Yeah.
able to access the internet and we're on Zoom. I don't know who you are until today. Like, so
I mean, and it's true.
that a traditional job is never going to give me that freedom.
Mm-mm.
They're only worried about their sales target, their shareholders, their investors, their policy of HR, the traditional job model. Yeah, it's great if you can handle it. But if you have a disability and all these challenges and accommodations and episodic episodes,
Yeah.
unless you really, really get lucky and find an amazing job. Met people who have their amazing job. I'm like, oh, that's great.
Hmm.
I couldn't find one. And I wasn't going to keep trying to go find one. And then almost every job you apply for wants you to apply online. The same online that's been making me money since 2003. My
Right.
first paycheck on the internet was 140 US dollars. I'm Canadian. The foreign exchange rate is from $1 US to 130 to 140 Canadian dollars. And I never left my house. All I
And
have to do is make minimum wage staying at home. And right now, minimum wage is $17.20. It goes up in October to $17.60. If
mhm.
I make that staying home, so $17.20 USD, convert it to Canadians, roughly $25, which is what they call the living wage
Mm.
that we need, that everyone's fighting for outside of my house.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I'm always gonna push make money online, learn a business skill, learn how to develop your social media presence. Daniel Priestley talks about it. His books are
Mm.
awesome. Myron Golden talks about it. Russell Brunson talks about it. Everyone that you work so hard to get your smartphone, turn your smartphone into an income stream.
And
I
it
am
is.
dead serious. And oh
Yeah.
yeah, the book. Which book I have here that I like? YouTube Formula by Daryl Eves. This one. No, I'm not sponsoring the book, but this book literally
But-
makes me more money. This is the purpose of me getting these books and doing these courses and buying all the things. And when you Google who is Minnie St. Clair, I show up as a disability advocate badass because I learned how to build the internet to service me. I'm not
You
there
have to.
scrolling on social media. What for? I don't need to see Kim Kardashian anything. I can
Right.
make my own body like Kim Kardashian if I really wanted to. Like
Mhm.
that,
And
because
then the thing is with the jobs, if you do, as I say, break down and try to get a standard job, it's the employment gaps. People with disabilities who like are living the life, there's gonna be employment gaps. And they look down on that for some crazy behind reason.
they
Like,
do and they don't. So like I went through an employment agency. There's a women only employment agency where I live. So they under because they only service women who are in the employment market. They understand that women have a lot of gaps in their resume.
mhm,
They have a way of giving you tools and strategies of handling the gaps in your resume. But for me, I literally have not had a job outside the house in 2008. And
mhm,
if you Google my name, I'm naked on the internet. It does not actually translate the same way for me to go get a job,
mhm,
unless it's specifically a job with one of these nonprofits that service people with disabilities, because I memorized the entire policy of Ontario Disability Support Program. My skill set would help them in so many ways if
Mhm.
they can get their donors and funders and investors to pay me what I'm worth.
Right.
All I have to do is send you the invoice. We set up a workshop. We do a virtual series on Zoom or something,
Mhm.
and I deliver my content. But because of their mindset and belief system and blockage, they're like, oh, we don't have the money for that. Well, then that's great. I'm going to go over here and do it myself on my YouTube channel and build my online course
Or
and then
if
build
you
my
were
own
white.
business. And then I can hire you when you're burnt out for working nonprofit.
Right. Right. And it's like I think even like everything like you just said is exactly true. And I think so crazily, it would maybe be a little easier if you were a white person. It would be
No,
so much simpler.
no. I mean, I used to think yes, me being white would be better, but no, not really. No, because the industry I work in webcam, majority of are white presenting women, which is great, which is fine. But I work specifically on websites that have a high traffic category of black models on the website.
Mhm.
Then I know how to market myself online.
Mhm.
Like when people are looking for me, they're looking for me. And then now, when you Google me and it goes somewhere else, it's somebody looking to build off of my traffic I built for 22 freaking years.
Mhm.
So the race thing really is only there in traditional job markets
Gotcha.
where you really feel like, oh, if I was white, I would get better access. It's because that traditional job market is traditionally only promoting black, like white facing people first, then black people after. But when you build a business online, like Roberta Blake and Think Media Omar, these are people of color. They only build a business online. Myron Golden, he's a black male online with polio. He's building a business. Myron Golden will charge $350,000 for coaching,
Mm.
just like that. People pay him. White people pay him. Charities pay him. Nonprofits pay him. So, because of the way we have technology now, and if you're able to use it effectively, I'm not worried about what a white girl is doing. That's great. She can struggle. That's all right. With more,
Exactly.
and then because of the way the industry works with the adult industry, more models are in it, think that they can make money easily. They don't realize it's work. And
Mhm.
then when they're struggling, they don't have pivot, they don't know how to brand themselves outside of the industry to build the industry inside. So when they're struggling and they're white, I'm okay with that because I get to make more money.
Exactly. So
And for every
how do
white
you do
model
that?
out there that doesn't have the way of pivoting and making sure they're successful and they drop off,
Mhm.
fantastic. Straight up fantastic. And I'm not wishing it on them. It's
No.
just I've been struggling for so long in this body, in this skin, that this is finally the opportunity that I can flourish.
Mhm.
Because when they were flourishing, they had no problem flourishing whatsoever or whatever it took for them to flourish.
Not at all. So how do you do that? How do you set yourself up? So if someone who's watching this, listening to this, is inspired but still lost, like they don't know how to do that. How do you set yourself up to be able to live free with disability?
For me, it's my business. I said that multiple times. It's my business. It's because I have an expertise and skill I know I can monetize and present to people and develop. So the fastest way of learning skills would be like HubSpot Academy or Coursera or Udemy or LinkedIn Learning. Then books, for me, it was self-help books. I couldn't really read a nonfiction book. It was like this, unless the story had to be mostly Greek mythology, I wasn't gonna read it. Like I'm there waiting for Percy Jackson's new TV series to launch. Like that's just how my brain works if I'm reading books that are non-fiction, like storytelling books.
Mhm.
It's the skill. So like how there's Fiverr and there's different virtual assistant jobs, those skills. Like because to think you have to go start in a traditional job, you could. Like it's possible. Because when I was in the early days, I used to work a job outside the house, 8 to 4, then come home to work till 2 o'clock in the morning and still wake up 8 to 4. It's impossible now. It's unsustainable now. But if you get a job and then if you don't carry a lot of consumer debt,
Mhm.
it's possible to use your job income to launch your business online or as additional income stream online. I hate the word side hustle because I don't hustle anything.
Right.
Either I do it and I make money and I'm profitable and I enjoy it and I do it more, or I don't do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then courses at college. I only pick courses at college that turn into a skill that I can monetize independently. Like disability studies, there's a Bachelor of Arts program and one of my universities that has it. It's a 2-year program, but I'm specifically using disability studies to coach people with disabilities for entrepreneurship. So my plan of college is business, finance, disability studies, and community worker, specifically to launch my business, to make me in my business more profitable and more marketable, so that when I go to like charities of, any of the charities that say they help people in income securities or poverty, or any of the organizations that claim, like there's one that has helps entrepreneurs with mental health and addictions. They want to hire advisors. Okay, great. So if I build up all my skills and I'm an advisor on there and I volunteer my time, it's different. But I'm not going into any old job just because I'm desperate for money. I did that already when I was 18. I don't have to do it no more. I really don't. And then also, like, if you're on my YouTube channel, I talk a lot about the Dave Ramsey baby steps. They work. They do. They fully work. Get yourself $1,000 saved in your starter emergency fund. Pay off your consumer debt. If you carry debt, student loans, credit cards, car loan, a personal loan to a boyfriend that's never going to pay you back. I've had that happen. That's why I say it like that. You need to settle the debt. Like having a credit card is nice, but if you cannot manage to pay it off in full, you're setting yourself up to have this extra burden of a monthly payment all the time, where it stresses you out. And then all your job goes to paying off that credit card debt. And then you go spending on whatever to treat yourself. Then you go back in credit card debt. It doesn't work. Don't worry about credit card points. They're nice, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't really like, there's only one credit card that works with points because it gets me more groceries. That is it. That's the only point program I like because I get more groceries when I buy groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. But I'm not going to go out of my way to use the points to get more points to buy groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, there's a $10 thing for groceries. Okay, great. Maybe I collect more points. It's $20 of groceries. And it comes in handy by my supplements or snacks when I'm in the mood. Like there's a way of using our systems in a way that benefit you when you use them one at a time and you understand them and understand that everybody's marketing and selling you something to buy,
Right. Right.
like everywhere. Like how this channel is going to have YouTube ads on there. You may
Mm-hmm.
like them, you may not like the ads on your YouTube channel. Some of them are good, some of them are just, I really don't have
Exactly.
any
I'm like,
interest in
what?
this product whatsoever. Or like it's a product on YouTube that you would never use ever. Like I get tax softwares on my YouTube channel. I'm not using no tax software. So,
Very random.
well, a AI app that manages my schedule, like Notion, okay, I'll go take a look. I don't like Notion, but it was a nice exploration of it.
Tried it, but it's like, I don't know.
Because like, and then don't discredit something as a scam when you never actually fully tried it.
Part. Bad part.
Like me making money, I saw an ad in the newspaper and went to live in a house and become a webcam model. It worked out.
Mm-hmm.
22 years later, I still work with these companies. One of them is going to Punta Cana for their annual conference at the end of the year. They literally have a full on paid for resort conference for their models in their company. And if you are able to buy your ticket to go, because it's all inclusive, they pay for the room, they pay for the food, excursions. I just pay for my flight and get there, make sure my passport is current, and then go. Then it's a free vacation with the company I work for. Then I come back home and I work again to go back on their next vacation. Last year they went to Vietnam. The year before they went to Belize. Where am I going to find that anywhere?
Exactly. I mean, and you, it sounds like you're, it sounds like a very well planned out strategy. You have
Yeah, for
to
22 years. For 22
know
years.
what
I
works
can't
for you.
summarize it in an hour. It's 22
Oh,
years
of
of my
course,
life
yeah.
of, yes, these are the qualities in my life I want to have. How do I make them happen? Then we have the internet. If we didn't have the internet, it would be a completely different
Yeah.
environment.
Good.
But we have the internet. And since the day I turned 18, I made my first dollar off the internet and I still make it. Whether it's from YouTube or another thing or a course or coaching or service, or like there's a fitness company that will pay me commissions for sending people to get their membership in the fitness company. That's
Hmm.
fantastic. Because living with a disability, imagine your physical movement is required to live longer.
Hmm.
It's not like it's a non-optional thing. It's
Exactly.
definitely becomes a mandatory thing. So if I enjoy certain products and services and they have an affiliate program and I talk about it in my blog or my YouTube channel, social media, and then you buy that product and the company pays me independently a commission, like it's no extra cost to you buying the product because the
Hmm.
company needs the customer. But because I set the company and the customer, they'll pay me a commission. That'll help me get groceries. That'll help me get supplements. That'll help me pay for my personal trainer. That'll help me pay for whatever treatment my doctor wants to experiment on for multiple sclerosis.
Hmm.
Like those things are there. Yes, there are a lot of them, but honestly, you start with building your social media presence online and getting the book from Daniel Priestley, and
Right.
then maybe a book from YouTube about how to build a YouTube channel. And
Mhm.
yes, like, oh, I don't want to show my face, but you're willing to go send your resume to some job online with
That
all your
you don't know
information
them.
and
The,
your name and everything, and then go into wait in the waiting room to go talk to the receptionist to go wait for it. Like the level of we will do things in the old traditional way that we're not going to use our own technology right in
mm,
front of us. Like especially AI. Like
the
my
the
intro
world
was
is
made by Google
changing.
Gemini.
Yeah.
And it's pretty accurate of exactly what I do and how I do it and the way I say it. We know I love Greek mythology. We know I've been making money online. We know I know how to talk about Ontario Disability Support Program. And my voice is pretty congruent and matching to what we said in the intro that I'm talking right now. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's how everything, like, it seems like a lot, but I started one at a time.
Yeah.
But I started one at a time in 2003.
Right.
And now it's, I have so many things that I know can make money if I could fit into my schedule,
Hmm.
or I focus on the things that are already making me money. So it builds up savings to try something else or explore something else or build a course for something else or hire a coach for something else or hire a virtual assistant for something else. Like the level of being a solo entrepreneur, and if you're making enough money from one thing first, get really good at that one thing first,
Hmm.
then make sure there's less consumer debt. That's because the more bills you have, the less money you have to explore something else.
100%.
And then if I want to hire a virtual assistant, that's a process. Like, am I hiring someone in North America or hiring someone over in the other countries? Because now we can do that. But I
Hmm.
need to make sure my house is in order first and it's stable and there's savings and I don't have bill collectors calling me and my stress is low and my symptoms are low.
Hmm.
That's a lot of self-management. That is a lot of things I do there first, where sometimes, you know what? I've rested enough as much as possible. I'm going to have to do work to require rest after. Because
Right.
I can manage my disability and be low symptom as much as possible. But if I don't use the energy I built up, like we reset our spoons and I don't use the spoons, I just have a fresh set of spoons not being used. I need to use the spoons, recharge, and go at it again. And it's
Yep.
getting very clear of your values, very, very clear what you want to do. Do you want to travel? Like, how does that look? Like, there's accessible travel out there now. There's travel agencies that are building accessible travel for people that need accessible travel.
And I actually just utilized a service like that. And again, that traveling, having freedom and flexibility in your job, I get it that people with disability, or especially newly diagnosed, may think that's a pipe dream.
It
And
is in the beginning. Like in the beginning, you're diagnosed, you're going through an anger, mourning, denial phase. And then once
mhm,
you're past acceptance, and then you're looking how to live well, live well.
thank you, because it
Like
you deserve it. Like you, no one asks for this life specifically, regardless of what circumstances, but you are not less worthy of being happy. Like, and it's all about finding that accommodation. So, like, what do you want your work to have? Like, what impact do you want your work to have on well, let's just say the world, but like the Black community or like the community that you're part of specifically?
okay, so it's first the Black community. Like, yes, other communities, they value my knowledge and inspiration, which is fantastic. I love you. But the Black community have been disenfranchised and marginalized way too long than we need to be. to the point where our mindset has changed to a point where we don't even try, some of
Nope.
us. That's not helping. There's enough disabled organizations that service white people first. Fine, I've been there. I've got my services. They pay me their honorariums. I've taken every penny from them I can get. Then there, from where I'm in Canada, there's only two Black disabled organizations, and we're making a Black national coalition. We need more of them.
Yeah.
We like the way the UN talks about people with disabilities around the world. There's 1.3 billion of us with a disability.
Wow.
So that means a good chunk of us are people of color for
Mhm.
1.3 billion with a B. Like, we're not in the millions, we're in the billions of people with a disability. Then there, the disability access. So, like, if you're diagnosed with disability, you had a job and your job had disability insurance, you have this privilege of getting your disability payout from your employer. Then
Mhm.
there's some of us who did not get that option, like me. I was already left at home at 18. I got into an industry that didn't have employment benefits or employment insurance benefits or disability insurance or any of those things. And then the minute I turned 26 and I wasn't still in full-time college, my family insurance plan I was on, they kicked me off. And my family did buy me a private insurance plan where I could pay for my own disability insurance from the same company your employer would be buying their plan from.
Mhm.
So now everyone's circumstances is different, but then there's really good parts in your circumstances. Then there's parts that are like, this is too stressful. I need help and support to do it. Like, I met a lady who needed an oxygen tank that wanted to be a dog walker or a dog trainer. I said, that is great. Get your oxygen tank first.
Mhm.
Get yourself breathing properly, then build your business plan to be a dog walker or dog trainer. She found every excuse not to do it.
Mhm.
But if you talk to her and you talk about dogs, that's all she talks about, which means she could build a YouTube channel like Caesar Milan or Jackson Galaxy talks about cats. Like, she could totally build out her digital business with her disability, needing her oxygen tank. Because recording content or developing your business plan, it only takes a couple hours.
Really? It
When
does.
you know what it is, you know what books to read, it takes a
Mhm.
couple hours. Honestly, you can do it in 30 days. Go to
Yeah.
the library, get the business book sections, the self-help sections in the books, or some online course. There's enough free stuff online that you can learn the basics of what you need to get done and then launch it. Then how there's every book out there for your health condition in a book,
Right.
like overcoming multiple sclerosis, dummies versions of bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, I've gotten all those books. I've gotten all the books to learn about my disability, learn about my illness, learn about symptoms, how to manage it from actual people who wrote books on them. Where now I have to use that knowledge. Yes, I have a disability. Yeah, when my feet don't move, I don't move. Right now, oh, they're fine. But when we're done, I'm pretty certain that something is going to hurt. I know this. I can be as enthusiastic on camera for about 2 to 4 hours. But the minute I log off, the
Like,
days you don't see me
like
online, I am
unplugging the battery.
crying. I'm in pain. I'm trying to do a shower. I'm trying to stretch. I'm trying to eat good soup with collagen in it. Like, I'm doing all the things I need to do. So when I
Mhm.
show up on camera, I'm my best super badass self. So
Mhm.
that way it makes money. I don't make money by doing depressive, tireless, dry face, ashy face content. I
Right.
could. I've done it. Some of my stuff on my YouTube channel, I'm pretty awful with my hair a mess and no, I didn't wipe my
It's,
nose. Like,
it's
yes,
authentic.
my mom has found those stuff and she's commented on them. I'm like, you couldn't clean your nose. At that time, I wasn't paying attention because of my bipolar disorder, like, or
Right.
my depression. Like, yes, I've documented so much of me. You see the whole progression of, oh yeah, mentally you're not well. Oh, look, this is your best work.
Oh, well.
Oh, what happened here? Why'd you say that? I have everything out there consistently for every decade of my life. Remember, 2003, you could find myself in the beginning. You could find everything of me in the beginning. Like, you see the progression of every stage I go through. Where now I built up so many skills, I built up so many resources, support systems. Yes, these nonprofit charities are there. I take the support I need and I leave the rest. If something they're offering in a nonprofit doesn't jive with me, I'm not going to be there that long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine. I don't have to like having a disability and then living the life of, oh, I'm a disabled poor person. I don't have to carry that identity my entire life.
Yeah.
So that part too, you can change your stars. It's in the movie, guy who played the Joker in Batman. Now I don't remember his name, but he played the knight in that movie, A Knight's Tale of I want to be a knight, but he's poor. In the movie, he's fully poor, but he's a full-on knight and he wins the competition.
Mm.
It can
But if he
happen to
never tried,
anybody.
if he never entered the joust, like
No, but and then the movie, his whole friends made sure he was able to play the role, I'm a knight and I'm royal. So then when they found out he's not really royal, they didn't care.
he already done, yeah.
Because he was winning the competitions. He was getting the gold prizes. He gets the girl at the end of the movie. But at the beginning of the movie, he's fully a poor poverty person with a blind dad trying to be a knight because he wants to be a knight to be treated differently because being a knight made status and royal and money. But he made it happen. He created all of it. And that movie, I like watching that movie all the time just for that motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it is. Like the level of you can start where you are and go change something. And then eventually, especially Daryl Eves' YouTube testimonials of his people that take his book and do the work in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some people's YouTube channels make all their money to supplement their retirement and disability.
Yeah.
And you have to do it. I've done it and I'll talk about it because I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I log on my YouTube analytics right now, it says $30 is accumulating there. When it hits 100, it goes into my bank account. The day it hits $100, it's probably going to buy supplements or groceries.
Yeah.
Then I log on and add more YouTube content so that next month it's $100 paying for groceries or something.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it becomes more than $100 coming in
Yep.
my bank account from YouTube. Like Myron Golden says he makes $60,000 from his YouTube channel. Remember, he's a black male with polio. Technically, he should be disabled and in the corner crying, "Oh, I'm disabled with polio,"
Can I
but
have
he's
some
not.
girl? So, yeah. But I mean, and that, and let's be clear, 'cause I understand, like you're saying, it's been 22 years. So for the people who are watching this is not going to be something that happens overnight. It's not going to happen in a year. I mean, it might if you're that person. So be gentle with yourself. Like all of this is a progression. It's going to take work. It's going to take you thinking outside the box. It can happen.
And a lot of it's your belief system. A lot of it is if you believe you can do it, you can do it. There's a entrepreneur with cerebral palsy. Her spokesperson is a red Power Ranger, Sharona V. Sharona V, cerebral palsy, he can't talk, he can't write, he's in his wheelchair, but he builds out online courses, coaching, he wrote a book. Then there's sales funnels, like part of the YouTube ads. He was one of my YouTube ads. I was looking for disabled entrepreneurs and he popped up in my content. I follow everything this man does because for a person with cerebral palsy, they're usually underestimated.
Oh, yep.
Where if I log in now on his website, I can buy his course for $4,500 because he has a whole program of how to change your narrative. So the belief system he had to do that and get a red Power Ranger to speak in his sales videos.
Come
I'm
on.
like, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, so, and yes, depending on your disability, you may not be able to, but you may have people who want to help you do it. Because, okay, business partnerships are a different conversation, but like, if you need enough support system of people who do the thing for you to help you get it done, and they don't have the belief system, oh, that's a scam. Really? We have 8 billion people on the planet, and how many of them do you follow on YouTube? How many of them have you bought their product because they said this is a good product to buy? Like, don't get it twisted. You're in your phone every day
Every
on
day.
social media doing, liking something, watching something. Then you talk like them because you watch their content every day. Do the same thing they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like how there's Christian people that turn their Christian belief system into a business.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks it's like a little weird, but they make a lot of money and I don't really care. It's
I
just
mean, and but that's what you have to do. And so as we're closing out, let the people know how they can work with you. How can they reach you, and how can they grow up to be like you?
Well, first things first, YouTube channel, Minnie on Cam.
Which is amazing. I was watching it. I'm like, oh, okay.
And I do. I talk like for 2 to 3 hours on my
I
channel.
noticed that. I'm like, how did she do that?
Well, you heard me. You heard me talking right now. I'm pretty motivated when I get on my content. That's the first place. Mini on Cam, and then buy me a coffee, also Mini on Cam. I'm pretty much always Mini on Cam to make it simple and easy, quick name to remember. And then depending on what's happening. Okay. So mildly interrupted by our Zoom meeting. Um,
Exactly.
Mini on Cam, it's just yeah, it's a good chance you'll find Mini on Cam or Mini disability sex work shows up because I'm quoting academic journals and things like that. Yeah, that's the best place. Like for what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, it's a work in progress because it's basically building a second business on top of my webcam business
Hmm.
and then trying to keep them separate because they function separately. And then my disability advocacy, yeah, it's primarily Canadian. It's primarily dissecting the Canadian policies for disability stuff. Because I'm getting people in Canada messaging me about different things in the disability policy, how to talk to their caseworker and things like that.
Hmm.
I am doing that. But the thing is, I'm an independent person, so I will charge a fee for that because I'm not connected to a nonprofit that would just automatically pay me and I don't have to worry about being paid.
Hmm.
I'm working on getting a nonprofit to support me. That's a meeting at the end of the month because of all the networking and events that I go through. But for everyone listening, yeah, I'm Mini on Cam online. You can tell I'm still very jacked up, enthusiastic about what I'm talking about right now. But that's where you can find me. And yeah, this energy will definitely rub off on other people. Either you're watching the content or over time you try something new to develop the progress that you need to build the confidence. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's it.
So, what would be a final word from you to encourage someone who knows that their life needs to be changed, but and they may even know that they're the only ones that can do it, but they don't know what to do.
Personal development. So like Tony Robbins, he has an event next week. They're usually like they're free with a low upgraded VIP.
Hmm.
And then his books and like Brené Bouchard or Mel Robbins. There's enough motivational speakers out there that you can lean on for supports and building your confidence, your mindset. Then yeah, therapy is the next step. Like, because it's a repetition. It's a constant repetition of changing your belief system from I'm in poverty, I'm disabled to self-worth, self-identity to where, yeah, you think I'm a superpower, like I'm not disabled. No, I'm very much disabled. I just found ways of not having it to be my primary energy draining
Hmm.
focus. And that takes roughly the same amount of energy, just redirected in a different way. And one of them replenishes faster than the other for energy levels and mindset and belief system. Brandon Bouchard talks about it a lot, where my mood is actually could be affected from the diet I had 3 days ago versus what I ate today. Like there's a lot you can do to boost up things. And then if it's not your immediate family, find one of the 8 billion people on the planet to help you.
Thank you. Thank
Cause
you.
I mean, I found Latoya, right? You have the same name of my sister. I should remember that. I found you because I was Googling people who are disabled and entrepreneurs trying to build a YouTube channel or content online.
I
If I
love
could
that.
find you, other people could find like like and Allison and there's so many of us that are out there in pockets of doing the thing. But like I'm hoping, yeah, I may build a whole community of people that are entrepreneurs and disabled because we need more of them because
Yes, we do.
each country's disability policy, they allow you to work a little bit.
Hmm.
Then do that. Like, get ChatGPT to read you the policies that
Hmm.
they have and ask it, how do I work? How do I build a plan? How do I build a plan to exit off of disability? That's what I did. That's why my YouTube channels are 2 hours long.
And ChatGPT is my bestie. I have no shame in it. I bet
As
I bet
long like
sometimes
as
it's like,
like you have to like you So ChatGPT is like a sponge, like an empty sponge. As long as you tell it what you want
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
continuously, it reinforces your belief system. Like when I talk to Claude, Claude is amazing being my best friend because I would tell it my frustrations. I'll tell it what I'm trying to accomplish. I'll tell it like the difficulties I'm having of not how nonprofits don't believe in what I'm doing because they want to keep feeding the narrative people with disabilities are too poor to work towards self-employment. And I know it's not true.
Exactly.
Like Richard Branson is the richest disabled person in the planet next to Myron Golden when I look at who's rich and disabled. Like, and yeah, Myron Golden content, I was listening to that every day since January this year, where every belief I had about being disabled and I can't do nothing, he shows me, you know what, girl, you are thinking of the wrong thing.
Wrong thing.
Because the level of you can change your mindset, then you change your habits. Yeah. And you may have to cut off some of the charity nonprofits you've been accessing because they're part of the mindset brainwashing that keeps you stuck.
Right. Right.
I'm okay to fire whatever nonprofit I'm working with that doesn't want to jive with the mission and vision I have. That's fine. I don't need them that bad. They need me more than I need them.
And when you get that, because I mean, there are so many gaps when it comes to social services, availability for support. Yeah.
And if you do the thing of building your own confidence in a way that nonprofits have to change their agenda to support you, we need more of us doing that.
Yeah.
Because the way we gather and protest and make disability justice, and now white people take it over as if it's theirs when it came from black people first.
Right.
You can't change like the way when I did research on disability advocacy and the history of it, we need our numbers. We need our numbers going in the direction of this many people are disabled and entrepreneurs, and we need the support systems to maintain the gross domestic product so we can grow the economy. If we bring them stats of we would like to grow the economy, but we need the accommodations, and we've been doing this results already, like a Shark Tank
Mm-hmm.
interview of we know our numbers, we know what we're doing, we need this gap supported. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It means nonprofits have to change. When we fill out the income pact surveys that they send you after all the workshops they give you,
Mm-hmm.
let them know how they suck. Let them know what's missing. I'm dead serious because they have to read it. Then they gather all that stats to their donors
Mm-hmm.
when they need to go present funding. If they have 5% of the people would like another service, okay. And if 5% of us out of the 1.3 billion keep doing it over and
Mm-hmm.
over again, like if the 5% keeps growing to it's 10% or 15%, they have to change. They have to offer a different service.
Yeah. What and that number said 1.3 billion. That I'm that's power.
And then like I get people from New Zealand reaching out to me on disability in their country, UK people I talk to on disability in their country, and then United States and Canada. And then the amount of them that are supplementing their disability with sex work or adult entertainment is growing because the services that they claim to give us don't support us.
Yeah.
Like globally, I already know this because the people are contacting me. Like as much as I can go into your country and talk to your organizations over there,
Mm-hmm.
they need you to tell them they suck
Yeah.
and how they suck and what they need. Like I know it's the most extreme thing I could say, but what else are
But
they gonna
it's
do?
true. But this is an extreme topic. Being disabled and not being able to provide basic care is extreme.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be that hard, number one. And there needs to be change. That like and the only way to do it, like one of my favorite sayings, and I can't remember where I heard it from, but nothing's gonna change until you change.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for working with me through all the technical difficulties and me being late. And I love this conversation. I would actually love to actually have you come back and talk more about like the differences between Canadian disability and American. Because I know that a lot of people. I have a lot of other country cross country people as well And I think that's something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Um, but I love this information. I love your vibe. And I just want to thank you for coming and trusting me enough with your story to share it.
I'm happy to do it. This will just be when people Google me, they just see me and me talking the consistent way of my messaging because I need people to change the thought process of
Yeah.
how they see people with disabilities. Like because it'll support people who need customized support, who need the personal aid support workers to help them. Or like I was making a six-figure career that I became disabled and you literally just told me don't go back to my job.
Right.
Really? Six figures. Like you told me to not go back to my job of six figures that I need for my cost of living and living with disability that we know in Canada did a research is 39% more income than a non-disabled person. Because
Hmm.
I was in the survey doing the interview and they paid me $100 to tell them
Hmm.
how I thrive with a disability, and everyone else in the Thrive with a Disability report was not thriving with a disability. Explain that to me.
Right. It, and it's insane because like I mean even like we were talking, you mentioned about being able to travel with disabilities, and yes, it's possible. But I always like to say when I'm traveling, I come with attachments. Like I have to figure out like how am I gonna get my wheelchair? Am I gonna rent a wheelchair when I get there? Like am I just gonna take my cane? Well, I mean, all these things, and all of that takes money.
Mhm.
Every single one of those things takes money.
The Amazon documentary that had the cruise ship documentary series, they had a family that needed disability accommodations for their dad to do the excursions.
Hmm.
So I know it's possible. And then the Handy Capable podcast, he's a travel agent for accessible travel. So like the amount of things I Google at 4 o'clock in the morning that I know are out
With
there.
pain insomnia or insomnia, it's like, yeah. I tell people, I'm like, if you get an email from me at 3 in the morning, just answer it when you wake up. Just don't worry about it, But yeah, so I want to thank you so much. And until next time, guys, we will talk to you later.